Welcome back to the channel, guys. So, it does not pay to cheat, or more specifically, it does not pay to profit from cheating, right? So, today we need to talk about this because I have some thoughts and feelings concerning cheating in games. But this article on Torrent Freak, and we'll actually look at the court documents as well in a moment, they're stating how this cheat maker, this hacker, modder, whatever you want to call him, is being sued, or he was sued and he lost and has to pay $150,000 in copyright damages. Now, I'm sure you're going to say, well, your title and your thumbnail says $220,000. Well, I'm lumping in that he also has to pay for attorney fees. So the attorney fees that he has to pay is almost $70,000. So he is in the hole for $220,000. So according to this article, these guys have been going after people who are cheating, making tools. And this dude specifically, Johnny Perez, a Florida resident, last August, the company filed a case against him, accusing him of copyright infringement for creating and distributing this cheat tool known as Elusive. He was selling this different packages, $10 to $30, depending upon what was included. I'm not 100%. I've played Grand Theft Auto 5, I've played all the Grand Theft Autos, but I never really got into the online aspect of it. But like this article states, this tool was used to have access to stuff that you normally wouldn't have access to. You could use it to grief players. I know I've seen videos where people would just mess around with people using stuff like this. You can mess with people, you can have access to stuff in an instant, like just spawn things. Get the in-game currency, buy whatever you want, do whatever you want. Crazy stuff. It does sound kind of cool, in my opinion, but at the same time, the issue is that it does ruin people's experiences, except for maybe the cheater, right? Or the guy who was profiting from this. But Take-Two and Rockstar, really what their issue, I think, was not just all the cheating stuff, but they were losing money. So they do sell in-game currency. I'm not sure what it's called, but maybe it's just money. I don't know. But they do sell in-game currency in different packages and stuff. And people using these kind of tools, they weren't paying Rockstar for anything, right? So obviously, when you're taking money away from their pockets, they are going to be pissed. So they've been going after these kind of guys, and this dude did get hit hard. Not as hard as I think he could have, because after reading through this, you know, they're saying they believe their harm was at least $500,000, if not more. But the maximum damages, the statutory damages they could get was $150,000, plus they're almost $70,000 in attorney fees, so hence the $220,000. Now the issue here is that this guy, he didn't really respond to Take-Two's lawsuit against him. So there was just a default judgment put against this dude, which really kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know what kind of defense he could have, but from reading this article and looking into some of these things, he did take down the tool for sale last year after they contacted him. And then he made like some statements like, oh, we'll donate like profits to whatever charity that Take-Two decides. Well, Take-Two ain't about no charity. That's obviously why they were suing this guy. They wanted the money. So the thing here is with the maximum that they could get, I'm not even sure, like, what did he actually profit from this? Maybe the maximum damages were still less, where he still made money and he just didn't care, because he didn't respond through the courts to this stuff. He didn't file anything in response. He didn't defend himself. So when you do that, if you have somebody suing you and you do not respond, it typically just goes into a default judgment when it's a monetary thing. And that's what happened to this dude, unfortunately for him, or maybe fortunately. I don't know how he's looking at it. But here is the actual judgment. So this was the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. I am no attorney, I am no lawyer, but I have had experiences dealing with courts in the past, filing paperwork, helping others do certain things that I had experience with. And with this being a motion for default judgment, I know if you do not respond, you have no say. Where I'm located, the thing with like default judgments, or if you're being sued, the one thing that I had learned years ago, and I had to help a couple people with because I had figured it out the hard way over a very small sum of money. I don't want to get into it, it's kind of stupid. But the court that I had to deal with, or even in where I live now, where I would have to deal with if I had some kind of lawsuit going, if you file your response to any kind of lawsuit, if you get served or whatever, the weird thing with the court here, I don't know if this is everywhere, but you'll get a court date where you appear. If you don't appear, it just goes to default judgment. But the day before, the business day before court, you have to contact the court and state that you want to speak to the judge, which is just crazy because you show up, if you didn't contact the court the day before, even after all the paperwork you filed, the judge would not speak to you. You get to stand up and he just tells you his verdict. It's kind of weird. I've seen some guys like being sued for like $50,000, $100,000 and wants to plead their case, and the judge is like, nope, you did not file that you wanted to argue with the judge. You do not get to speak. And I had seen a guy once where they had to have like the bailiff or the sheriff, whoever the hell it was. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't really understand everything. I understand, a little bit of stuff. They had to have somebody escorted out because he wouldn't shut up. He was like, well, how is that fair? So I don't know if it's the same in a place like this, but it's just kind of weird, man. If you ever get lumped into some kind of lawsuit, definitely make sure you learn before going to court what you need to do. But he did not respond. This thing, it states, let's take a look here. The default, the certificate of default was issued on November 21st, 2018. By reason of default, so he did not, respond. That's saying that he's admitted to the truth of the allegations and he's just screwed, right? So Take-Two has irreparable harmed by Mr. Perez's infringing conduct and will continue to be harmed unless adjoined. First, Mr. Perez's Elusive program, the infringing program, creates new features and elements in Grand Theft Auto which can be used to harm legitimate players, causing Take-Two to lose control over its carefully balanced plan for how its video game is designed to be played. Second, the infringing program harms Take-Two's reputation for maintaining its gaming environment, discouraging users from future purchases and gameplay. Third, because the infringing program allows its users to create unlimited virtual currency, which can then be used to purchase in-game items in Take-Two's game, it undermines Take-Two's pricing and sales of legitimate virtual currency. These harms are not quantifiable. Take-Two has no way of knowing how much revenue it has lost and will continue to lose as a result of Mr. Perez's infringing program. That's the biggest thing. The other stuff, I mean, I could imagine if there was nothing that was harming their flow of currency, their flow of money coming in for selling things, that they might not have cared as much. Maybe they still would have. I can't speak on behalf of them. But for sure, once you're messing with their pocket, once you're messing with that bag of money that they could be bringing in, they're going to be pissed. So that's exactly what happened here. Now, I mean, that's why I think this went to a lawsuit, right? Now, people had said, in the past, game genies, there's still cheat devices out there to today. But I think it's when that kind of stuff doesn't harm anybody but yourself, if you want to look at it that way. I mean, using a game genie on like an NES, does that really harm anything? Not necessarily. It might, make the game easier for you, whatever. But when you're harming other players' experiences by griefing them, by having an unfair advantage, definitely that sucks. I'm not for that. I don't care if you cheat, if you do whatever, but once you start messing with somebody else's experience, that sucks. I have experienced that in the past, but not with games like this, more so with Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast. I believe I've spoke about this before, where people started hacking the game, getting unlimited drops of whatever rare weapons and equipment and money they wanted, duping items, doing all that kind of stuff, doing those hacks where they could like blue screen your game and then you could lose your save file. That started making the game not worthwhile. And you had to pay for a hunter's license to play Phantasy Star Online. And I believe it was like $8 a month. So when you're paying money and somebody else is ruining your experience, that sucks, dude. Like, I don't, I can understand people want access to the best of the best stuff, But in a game like Phantasy Star, you earn that. You know what I mean? If you just have instant access to it and then you're trading or selling to other players because you're duping items, that ruins the in-game, you know, economy. It ruins the fun. When everybody has the best weapon in the game, that kind of ruins the game, in my opinion. So I'm definitely not for cheating like that. I don't care if you cheat on your single-player games, but when it comes to online stuff, definitely not cool in my books. Really annoys me. Like I said, I haven't experienced that too much. The only example I could ever think of is Phantasy Star Online. That was quite some time ago, guys. So hey, there we go. Cheating does not pay, especially if you're profiting from it. Who knows how much money this guy really made, because he never responded to them when they tried to find out how much profit he made. That was one of the things. He was just like, screw these guys, man. Like, I mean, who knows how much he made, but he never let them know because they wanted to know. So he could be getting off pretty, you know, light in reality for this money here, but who knows? Really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me, listening to this nonsense, just real craziness. Really do appreciate it. Smash that like button, make sweet ass love to that notification bell. You make a mess, that's on you. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. With that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom! Bye.